It was a bright Tuesday morning when the sound of screeching tires tore through the sleepy silence of the small-town gas station. Adam Cole wiped his hands. On a rag, squinting into the sunlight, he'd been up since 5. Patching a leaky radiator for a customer who still hadn't paid his work shirt was stained. With oil, his fingers nicked and scarred. Evidence of years spent surviving, not living. When the blue sedan rolled to a stop by the pumps, steam billowing from under its hood, Adam thought it was just another breakdown. He had no idea that the woman stepping out of that car would change everything he thought he knew about kindness, luck, and second chances. If you believe that one small act of kindness can change a life, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Touch of Kindness. Because sometimes a second chance starts with a stranger's smile. The woman looked lost, both literally and emotionally. She was in her early 30s, dressed in a crisp cream blouse and navy trousers, but her eyes carried exhaustion, the kind that came from more than just a long drive. Her name, as Adam would soon learn, was Clara Monroe. She'd been on her way to a business meeting 2 towns over when her car suddenly overheated. Adam noticed the worry in her tone as she spoke, something about how she couldn't afford to be late, that she'd already been through too much this week. He didn't ask questions. He just nodded, grabbed his wrench, and lifted the hood. The air was thick with the smell of burnt coolant. Adam worked quietly, methodically, his sleeves rolled up to his elbows. He could feel Clara's anxious gaze following his every move. Sweat trickled down his neck as he checked the hoses, tightened clamps, and found the culprit. A burst pipe, he sighed. It wasn't a quick fix, but she looked desperate, and something inside him, maybe the same part of him that still believed good things could happen, pushed him to help anyway. I can fix it, he said, softly. But it might take a while. Clara hesitated, glancing at her watch. How much will it cost? Adam shook his head. Don't worry about that right now. You'll make your meeting if I work fast. For 2 hours under the blazing sun, he worked relentlessly. The tools he used were old and mismatched, the kind you collect from pawn shops and yard sales over years of just trying to get by. His 10-year-old daughter, Rosie, peeked from behind the station's counter, watching her dad with curious eyes. She loved seeing him fix things, not just because it made him look like a hero, but because every repair seemed to bring back a flicker of light to his tired face. When the engine finally roared back to life, Clara exhaled in relief. Don't know what to say, she murmured, reaching for her purse. How much do I owe you? Adam wiped his forehead, smiling faintly. Nothing. You needed help, and I was here. Just get to your meeting safe. Clara blinked, clearly surprised. You can't be serious. He shrugged. Ma'am, sometimes people need help more than they need a bill. She looked at him for a long moment, her lips parting slightly, as if she wanted to say something more, but instead she nodded and drove off, leaving Adam with nothing but the fading sound of her tires and a strange warmth in his chest. That night, Adam sat with Rosie at their small kitchen table, a single bulb flickering above them. Their dinner was simple, macaroni and cheese, the kind from a box. Rosie chattered about school, about how she wanted to join art class, but the supplies were too expensive. Adam smiled through the ache in his chest. He wanted to give her everything, a real home, a new backpack, maybe even that art set she'd been dreaming about. But the truth was, the bills were piling up. The garage was barely surviving. Some nights, he skipped dinner so Rosie wouldn't notice. There wasn't enough to go around. Still, as he tucked her into bed, he whispered, "We're gonna be okay, Rosie, I promise." He didn't know how, but he believed it. The next morning, the sound of a car engine pulling up outside the garage jolted him from his thoughts. When he stepped out, he froze. The same blue sedan from yesterday gleamed in the sunlight. Clara stepped out, her expression softer this time, almost emotional. Morning, she said, walking up to him. I hope I'm not interrupting. Adam shook his head, wiping his hands on his rag again. Not at all. Everything okay with the car? She smiled. It runs perfectly. That's why I came back. He frowned slightly. You didn't have to. I told you it was. I know, she interrupted gently, but I couldn't stop thinking about what you did. You helped a complete stranger without expecting anything. People don't do that anymore. She paused, taking a deep breath. I went to that meeting yesterday. It was about a new community initiative, a charity project we're launching to help small businesses and individuals trying to rebuild their lives. And I thought of you, Adam blinked me. Clara nodded, her eyes glistening. Yes, you. I looked up your garage. You've been running it alone since your wife passed, right? Adam's heart skipped. He didn't expect her to know. His late wife, Sarah, had died 5 years earlier in a car accident. Since then, he'd been raising Rosie alone, trying to keep the business alive while juggling bills, grief, and parenthood. I did some checking, Clara continued softly. You've never missed a service call. You've helped people without charging them. When they were struggling, even when you were struggling yourself, that kind of heart, it deserves a chance to grow. She handed him a folded envelope. Adam hesitated before opening it. Inside was a check for $25,000. His hands trembled. I can't take this, he stammered. Yes, you can, Clara said firmly. It's not charity, it's an investment. I want to help you renovate this place, turn it into something bigger, maybe even hire help so you can spend more time with your daughter. I've seen enough. People take without giving. You gave without asking. It's time that came back to you. Adam's throat tightened, the world blurred for a second as emotion washed over him. All he could think about was Rosie, her small hands drawing on the table, her laughter echoing through the empty garage. He tried to speak, but his voice broke. I don't know what to say. Just say yes. She smiled. Say yes to a new start. That afternoon, Adam closed the garage early and picked Rosie up from school. He didn't tell her everything right away, just that something good had happened. They stopped at her favorite diner, and for the first time in a long time, he let her order dessert without worrying about the cost. Over the next few weeks, life began to change. With Clara's support and business guidance, Adam transformed his small garage into a thriving repair center. He hired a young apprentice, repainted the building, and even set up a small lounge for waiting customers. Rosie got her art supplies and her own corner in the office where she'd draw cars with bright wings and smiling faces. The town started to notice. 2 people came by, not just for repairs, but for conversation. They'd heard the story about the mechanic who helped a stranger and ended up being helped in return. Some brought gifts. Others brought business. The Cole Auto and Care sign out front became a quiet symbol of hope. That decency still existed. Months later, Clara visited again. This time with her company team. They took photos, documenting Adam's rebuilt garage for their Kind Hands initiative program. But before leaving, she pulled Adam aside and said something that stayed with him forever. You fixed my car, Adam, she said, but what you really fixed was my faith in people. That night, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Adam sat outside with Rosie. The soft hum of crickets filled the air, and the warm glow of the new garage lights flickered behind them. Rosie leaned against him and whispered, Daddy, you always help people. I'm glad someone finally helped you back. Adam smiled, tears pricking his eyes. Me too, sweetheart, me too sometimes. Life doesn't reward us when we expect it. It waits until we've nearly lost hope. And then, like sunlight after a storm, it returns everything we gave out, and more. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Touch of Kindness. Your support helps more inspiring, true-to-life stories reach those who need hope the most. And before you go, comment below. Do you believe that one act of kindness can change someone's life forever? Because sometimes all it takes is a broken car and a willing heart.